What's up, Ospreys? Welcome back to another edition of Afternoon Scoop on Inside Swoop 90. I'm Tony Salazar, reporting outside the Herbert University Center, and I'm here to bring you the Inside Scoop and Inside Swoop. First up, 5 people were killed by a shooter Thursday evening who opened fire along a walking trail in Raleigh, North Carolina. According to the AP, the shooter is an unnamed white juvenile male who opened fire along the Neuse River Greenway around 5 p.m. and eluded officers until he was cornered and arrested in a home around 9:30 p.m. Authorities have yet to provide a motive for the shooting. We will keep you updated as the story continues. Next up, a school custodian in Vancouver, Washington was arrested on 137 counts of first-degree voyeurism. 38-year-old James Matson was booked into Clark County Jail Thursday after investigators found 137 videos he had filmed in restrooms over the course of a decade. According to the AP, a criminal investigation began on October 5th after a woman dating Matson reported finding a video on his computer of a girl changing clothes in a locker room. The Vancouver Public Schools announced that Matson is on unpaid leave while the job termination process is pending. Lastly, Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson is facing another civil lawsuit from a Texas woman who claims that Watson pressured her into a sexual act during a massage therapy session in 2020. The unnamed woman claims that Watson asked her to have sex with her after getting a massage in a hotel room. The woman refused but was pressured by Watson to perform oral sex. Watson is currently serving an 11-game suspension for alleged sexual misconduct from 24 women. 23 of those women have since settled civil lawsuits with Watson. Well, Ospreys, thanks again for tuning in for this edition of Afternoon Scoop on Inside Swoop 90. I'm Tony Salazar, and I will see you next time.
How's it going, Ospreys? We're here today at the Herbert University Center reporting live for this segment of Sunshine segment on Inside Swoop and 90. I'm Austin Maida, here to give you the Inside Scoop on Inside Swoop. First up, a divided jury spared Florida school shooter Nicholas Cruz the death penalty Thursday for killing 17 people at a Parkland high school in 2018. The decision instead sends Cruz to prison for the rest of his life. Under Florida law, a death sentence requires a unanimous vote on at least one count. One or more of the 7-man, 5-woman jury found mitigating factors such as untreated childhood issues, and in the end could not agree that the aggravating factors outweighed the mitigating ones, so Cruz now gets life in prison without parole. Next up, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Thursday issued an executive order expanding voting access for the midterm elections in 3 counties where Hurricane Ian destroyed polling places and displaced thousands of people. The move follows requests from Lee, Charlotte, and Sarasota counties. The order extends the number of early voting days and adds additional early voting locations. Tommy Doyle, the election supervisor in Lee County, said, quote, "The executive order is crucial because it allows us to move forward with our plans to make voting as accessible as possible." Finally, the big 3 college football programs in the Sunshine State are all back in action on Saturday. Florida State hosts their rival undefeated Clemson in the primetime ABC national game at 7:30. Florida looks to win back-to-back SEC games for the first time in a long time when they host LSU at 7 p.m. Lastly, Miami goes on to the road to face a struggling Virginia Tech program with kickoff set for 12:30. Well, Ospreys, thanks for joining us for another edition of the Sunshine segment, today live on location at the Herbert University Center. I'm Austin Maida, and I'll see you next time.
Hey there, Ospreys. Welcome to this live on location edition of International Insider from outside the Herbert University Center. I'm Joshua Rigdon, here to give you the Inside Scoop on Inside Swoop. First up, Total Energies Group in France faces continuing strikes Friday that are disrupting fuel supplies. This comes after left-wing CGT union rejected a deal over a pay increase that 2 other unions had agreed to. The CGT are holding out for 10% pay rise, while both the CFDT and CFE CGC unions, which together represent a majority of the group's French workers, agreed overnight to a 7% pay rise and a financial bonus. Next up, Friday, 3 Swedish center-right parties agreed to form a coalition government with the support of the Swedish Democrats, a once radical far-right group that has moved toward the mainstream but retains a hard line on immigration. This follows elections on September the 11th that gave the Sweden Democrats an unprecedented position of influence in Swedish politics with over 20% of the vote. The agreement came after 1 month of talks following the election. Lastly, on Friday, homes were flooded in Melbourne and other cities in Australia's southeast, with rivers forecast to remain dangerously high for days. Authorities said that about 70% of residents were told to leave in suburb in Melbourne's northwest. The Bureau of Meteorology said major to record-breaking flooding was occurring or was forecast to occur on many rivers in Victoria and the island state south of Tasmania. Well, Ospreys, that's it for this live on location edition of International Insider on Inside Swoop and 90. I'm Joshua Rigdon, and we'll see you next time.